Hello, dear students. How are you? I hope you are doing well. I know you are curious and excited about today's video as we are going to complete our story and answer the 3 questions written by Leo Tolstoy. Dear students, in our last video, I have left you with some questions to think over. I hope you thought about these questions. The questions were: what did the hermit say at the end of the story? Who said that someone is running? And who was running? Have you found out the answers to the king's 3 questions? In order to know the answers, we further need to read the story. Before we begin, let's have an overview of this lesson. In this video, we are going to learn about 3 questions, second part of the story, comprehension check, and working with the text. Now, let's see the learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to summarize the encounter between the king and the hermit. Explain the significance of the hermit's actions and words in response to the king's questions. Express the importance of wisdom, humility, and patience. Consider how these themes relate to leadership and decision making in our own lives. Dear children, these are the learning objectives. So, let's read the story further.
"Here comes someone running," said the hermit. The king turned around and saw a bearded man running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach, from which blood was flowing. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. The king and the hermit removed the man's clothing and found a large wound in his stomach. The king washed and covered it with his handkerchief, but the blood would not stop flowing. The king redressed the wound until at last the bleeding stopped.
Dear children, before going further, let's learn some new words. Fainted, lost consciousness, redressed, dressed again. Now let us continue reading our story.
The man felt better and asked for something to drink. The king brought fresh water and gave it to him. By this time, the sun had set and the air was cool. The king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The man closed his eyes and lay quiet. The king, tired by his walk and the work he had done, lay down on the floor and slept through the night. When he awoke, it was several minutes before he could remember where he was or who the strange bearded man lying on the bed was. "Forgive me," said the bearded man in a weak voice, when he saw that the king was awake.
"I do not know you and have nothing to forgive you for," said the king.
"You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore revenge on you, because you put my brother to death and seized my property. I knew you had gone alone to save that hermit, and I made up my mind to kill you on your way home. But the day passed and you did not return. So I left my hiding place and I came upon your bodyguard, who recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from him, but I should have died if you had not dressed my wounds. I wished to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now, if I live, I will serve you as your most faithful servant, and will order my sons to do the same. Forgive me.
Dear children, before going further, let's learn some new words. Seized, took by force, faithful, loyal and true. Dear children, the story is very interesting, isn't it? Before going further, let's check our listening comprehension, shall we? First question. The bearded man was option A, soldier of the king, option B, friend of the king, option C, a king, option D, God of the king. Which is the right answer, children? Think. Yes, the right option is option C, a king. Moving to the next question. The bearded man asked for the options are option A, forgiveness, option B, money, option C, property, and option D, kingdom. What is the right answer, children? Think. Yes, the right answer is option A, forgiveness. Now let us continue reading our story.
The king was very happy to have made peace with his enemies so easily, and to have won him over as a friend. He not only forgave him, but said he would send his servants and his own doctor to look after him, and he promised to give back the man his property. Leaving the wounded man, the king went out of the hut and looked round for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to get answers to his questions. The hermit was on his knees, sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king went up to the hermit and said, "For the last time I beg you to answer my questions, wise man." "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still bending down to the ground and looking up at the king as he stood before him. "How have I been answered? What do you mean? Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday, and had not dug these beds for me, you would have gone away. Then that man would have attacked you, and you would have wished you had stayed with me. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. Afterwards, when the man ran to us, the most important time was when you were caring for him, because if he had not dressed his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you."
So, he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business.
Remember then, there is only one time that is important, and that time is now. It is the most important time because it is the only time we have any power to act. The most necessary person is the person who are with at a particular moment, for no one knows what will happen in the future and whether we will meet anyone else. The most important business is to do that person good, because we were sent into this world for that purpose alone.
This story is written by Leo Tolstoy. Dear children, before moving on, let's check our listening comprehension, shall we? Children, answer this question.
Children, answer this question. What did the king had done to the wounded man in the past? Option A, he had killed his brother. Option B, he had killed his sister. Option C, he had seized his property. And option D, both A and C. What is the right answer, children? Think. Yes, the right answer is option D, both A and C. Moving to the next question.
The final answers of the hermit. The options are: Option A, satisfied the king. Option B, failed to satisfy the king. Option C, amused the king. And option D, confused the king. What is the right answer, children? Think. Yes, the right answer is option A, satisfied the king. Let us see another activity. Complete the following sentences by adding the appropriate parts of the sentences given in the box. Many wise men answered the king's questions. Children, now read the answers. 1. But the bleeding would not stop. 2. To answer 3 questions. 3. But their answers were so varied that the king was not satisfied. And 4. And follow it strictly. 5. To help the king act at the right time. What is the right answer? Think. Yes, but their answers were so varied that the king was not satisfied. Let us move to the next question. Someone suggested that there should be a council of wise men. Children, what is the right answer? Think. Yes. To help the king act at the right time. Next question. Someone else suggested that the king should have a timetable. Dash. Children, what is the right answer? Think. Yes. And follow it strictly. Next question. The king requested the hermit. Children, what is the right answer? Think. Yes. To answer 3 questions. Next question. The king washed and dressed the battered man's wound. Children, what's the right answer? Think. Yes. But the bleeding would not stop. Well done, children. Now we are going to complete working with the text activity. Answer the following question. Why was the king advised to go to magicians? Children, answer this question. Yes, the answer is some of the wise men thought that in order to decide the right time for doing something, one must look into the future, and only magicians were able to do that. So, they advised the king to go to the magicians. Next question. In answer to the second question, whose advice did the people say would be important to the king? Children, answer this question. Yes, the answer is, in answer to the second question, some people suggested to seek advice of counselors, the priest, or the doctors or the soldiers? Next question. What suggestions were made in answer to the third question? Children, answer this question. Yes, the answer is,
For the third question, some people said that science was the most important business, while there were others who believed it was fighting, and then there were those who believed religious worship should take the first place.
next question. Did the wise men win the reward? If not, why not? Children, answer this question. Yes, the answer is
No, the wise men didn't win the reward because their answers were so different from each other, and the king was not satisfied with their answers.
next question. How did the king and the hermit help the wounded man? Children, answer this question. Yes, the answer is the king washed the wound and covered the wound of the man with his handkerchief and kept on dressing it until the bleeding stopped completely. The king also offered the wounded man water to drink. The hermit helped the king to bring the wounded man inside his hut and allowed the man to spend his night in the hut. Next question. Who was the bearded man? Children, answer this question. Yes, the answer is the bearded man was an enemy of the king. He wanted to take revenge of his brother's death by killing the king and taking away all his property. Next question. Why did he ask for the king's forgiveness? Children, answer this question. Yes, the answer is
The bearded man asked for the king's forgiveness because he wanted to kill the king, but the king had saved his life. He was grateful to the king then.
next question. The king forgave the bearded man. What did he do to show his forgiveness? Children, answer this question. Yes, the answer is
The king showed his forgiveness by promising the man that he would send his doctor and servants to look after him, and also promised to return him all his property.
What were the hermit's answers to the three questions? Write each answer separately. Which answer do you like most and why?
The most important time, according to the hermit, is our present, because it is the only moment when we have the power to act. The most important person at a moment is we ourselves, because the future is unknown and we don't know whether we will meet anyone in the future or not. So, we should listen to ourselves. The most important business is to be kind and good to others, because we have been sent in this world to serve this noble cause. I like the third answer the most, because helping someone in need is like serving God. It makes us a good person and brings a sense of satisfaction and contentment.
Let us see the summary of this lesson. What have we learnt? Three Questions is a short story written by Leo Tolstoy. This is a story of a king who wanted to become a successful ruler. He thought that he could become a better ruler if he knew the right time to begin a new venture, who were the right people to advise him, and what was the most important thing to do. He declared rewards for the people who gave him satisfying answers. Many people came, and all the answers given by them were different. The king was not at all satisfied. He went to a wise hermit seeking answers. The hermit was digging ground when the king reached there. He repeated his question several times, but the hermit did not answer. The king helped the hermit in digging. Then they saw a stranger who was badly wounded running towards them. The king nursed him and bandaged his wounds. Later, the man said that he was the king's enemy and wanted to kill him. As the king saved his life, he wanted to become his servant. The king repeated the questions to the hermit before leaving. The hermit said that the king already found his answers through his deeds. He said that there is only one time that is important now. The most important person is the one whom is currently with, and the most important thing to do is doing good to that person. Dear children, hope you like this video. Let's learn more about this lesson in the next video.